Hey there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to answer the short answer question type in your IELTS reading exam. So just to refresh your memory, this is what the short answer question looks like. You will be told over here how many words you can write, and basically you just have to write the answer to each question in your answer sheet. Another thing to remember about this question type is that it is always in order. So this is very useful to know because it allows you to strategically search for the answer to each question. So it's always good to know which questions are in order all the time, which questions are in order most of the times, and which questions are not in order. So it's very good to know that so that you can be strategic about the way in which you find the answers to different types of questions. The other thing about the short answer question is that it is rather easy to solve, as you can see indicated by this green dot up here. So the way to identify this question type is first to read up here. It tells you how many words you can write, and then you can simply see that over here you have not been given any fill in the blanks, any blank lines. You have also not been given any multiple answer choices. So that means that this is going to be a short answer question type. Now, let me give you a bit of explanation regarding this type of question. So you already know that it goes in order and that it is easy to do. So naturally, if you see these questions, then you should do them first. For example, let's say that in a reading passage, you have 3 different types of questions. So usually in each reading set, you're going to get 2 or 3 types of questions, 2 or 3 different types of questions. Usually it's going to be 3 types of questions per reading passage. So let's say that if in a reading passage, short answer appears as one of the 3 question types, well, then you should probably do this type of question first. You should probably go straight to the short answer question and do this set of questions first, because they are very easy and also because they go in order. If you happen to also have another easy type of question, for example, fill in the blank, then you can go ahead and do that first before doing the short answer. That's also fine. The idea behind this way of thinking is simply to do the easy questions first and to save the difficult ones for later. Now, you already know that each question is formed from only 1 to 2 sentences in the reading passage. So I wanted to stress this one more time. It's very important because a lot of times students end up reading way too much information. They start to read more information than they need to, and as a result of that, they start applying extra information to the question, and for that reason, they get it wrong because they applied too much information. They read too much. So don't do that. Keep in mind that your answers are going to come from only 1 or 2 sentences. Now, the short answer question is similar to fill in the blank questions because they go in order, they're easy to do, and you simply have to find some specific information. In this case, in the short answer question type, you don't see any blank lines, but you're still solving these questions in pretty much the same way. Now, in the short answer questions, it's going to ask you for very specific information, and you will know exactly what specific information you are being asked for by reading the question. And I'll show you more examples of this very soon. The last thing to keep in mind is that you must be able to scan for keywords. This is a general skill that you need to have for all the different question types. So you'll see this suggestion being made again and again throughout the different question types. You have to be able to scan the keywords and also to understand the synonym language. You have to know how the different keywords are being paraphrased or being rephrased into different words, into synonym language. Now let's go over the basic strategy for this question type. The first thing is similar to fill in the blank questions. What you have to do is simply underline or circle the keywords in each of the questions. Next, you have to identify which questions are easiest so that you can do them first. Personally, I like to do this by putting a little check mark next to the easy questions. This is again similar to fill in the blank questions. If it helps you, then go ahead and put a check mark next to it. If it doesn't help you, then don't do it. The next thing to do is to scan the passage. So now that you have identified the keywords and you have identified which are the easy questions, now you have to go to the passage and you have to start looking for the keywords within the easy questions first. So we're going to look for those keywords in the reading passage, and we're not going to read our sentences word by word. We're not going to be reading the passage sentence by sentence. Instead, we're simply going to be scanning the passage. And when we find the keywords that we are looking for or the synonym language that we are looking for, then you can simply mark it. You can either underline it or circle it so that you can mark the spot where you found the answer to a particular question. Next, you have to go back to the question. You have to make sure that the answer that you have found does in fact fit the question. So in order to do this, you can look at the connecting words. In this case, the connecting words are going to be the specific information that we are looking for. What words would connect to the specific information that we are looking for? The answer has to fit the question. It has to fit the specific information that we are looking for. For example, if the question is asking you to find the specific information which happens to be the name of a person, then you know that you are looking for a proper noun. You are looking for the name of a person. So that is what we mean by specific information. Are you looking for a noun? Are you looking for a verb? Are you looking for an adverb? What are you looking for? Is it the name of a place, the name of a person, or the name of something? So that is what we mean by making sure that our answer fits. Our answer has to fit the specific information that we are searching for. And finally, once you have found the answer, then simply put a little number next to that line where you have found the answer. The reason for this is the same as the reason that we discussed for fill in the blank questions. The reason is that these questions go in order. So if I have identified where I found the answer to question number 3, and I have also identified the spot where I found the answer to question number 5, then I know that I'm going to find the answer to question number 4 sandwiched in between the answers for number 3 and number 5. It's going to be in there somewhere in between because they have to go in order. First number 3, then number 4, and then number 5. So that's why we like to put a little number next to the line where you have found your answer. So that is the basic strategy. Now let's take a look at some examples so that you can get a basic overview of how to answer this type of question. Later in the following videos, I'm going to be doing actual practice exam questions, and I'm going to be showing you how to do this in the exam scenario. So right here, we're just giving you examples of the strategy, and then in the following videos, I'm going to do practice questions, and I will be solving the different short answer questions for you. So on to our examples. So let's say that if this is the question set that you got on your test, what would you do? The first thing that you have to do is pay attention to how many words your answer can be. In this case, I cannot write an answer that is more than 1 word. It can only be a 1-word answer. If I make it a 2-word answer, then I'm going to get it wrong. So make sure to always follow simple directions. It's surprising to me how many students lose points just because they cannot follow simple directions. It's quite simple. It tells you right here, And this is part of knowing English. Because if you cannot follow basic instructions, then that tells the examiner that you do not understand English. Because why else would you not follow basic guidelines? So always make sure to pay attention to how long your answer can be. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to underline or circle all the keywords in each one of these questions. So here I've highlighted these keywords, but since you won't have a highlighter, you can either underline it or circle it with a pencil. Once we have identified the keywords, the next step is to identify which question would be the easiest one for us to solve. So the way that we identify this is by identifying the easiest keyword. Now I'm going to ask you, out of these three questions, which question do you think is going to be the easiest one to solve? Take a moment to guess. Which keyword do you think is going to be the easiest one to find? Shade, serious climatic event, southern Rajasthan, frequent visitors, or nowadays? Which one? If you guessed southern Rajasthan, then you are correct. This is a proper noun. This is the name of a place in India, and the letter R is capitalized. So since this is the name of a location and the letter R is capitalized, since this is a proper noun, this is going to be very easy for us to find. So question number 7 is the easiest question since it has the easiest keyword. So personally, I like to put a little check mark next to the easy questions so that I know that I have to do them first. If it helps you, you can do the same. If it doesn't help you, then don't worry about it. But personally, I like to do this, especially when there are many questions. Finally, the last thing that you have to do is you have to identify the specific information that each question is asking you for. What is the specific information that each question is asking you for? So in number 6, the question is asking you for a certain part of some step wells. So the answer we can already guess, it's going to be a noun, because only a noun can be the correct answer. Since we are looking for some sort of a part, some sort of a thing, it has to be a noun. Now with number 7, we are looking for a type. The type of what? We are looking for the type of a serious climatic event. So that whole thing, we are looking for that specific information, the type of serious climatic event. So since we are looking for a type, which is a sort of classification, we are looking for some sort of a category. So this answer must also be a noun. The answer to number 7 will also be a noun. And then finally, number 8, we are looking for who. So we are looking for either a person or a group of people. So this is also going to be a noun. We are looking for a group of people or perhaps one person. Actually, it has to be a group of people since these are plural. The visitors are plural, so it's going to be a group of people. Or maybe a group of animals. I don't know. We're going to find out. So once you have identified the keywords and once you have identified the specific information that you need to look for in each one of these questions, then you can go ahead and start by answering the easy questions first. So in this case, we're going to start off by answering number 7. So here we go. So question number 7 is, what type of serious climatic event which took place in southern Rajasthan is mentioned in the article? So let's say that you go to your article at this point and you start to look for keywords and you come across this paragraph and you're going to find your keyword somewhere in this paragraph. So let's go ahead and scan this paragraph and let's see if we can find our keyword Rajasthan. I am not reading every single word. I am only looking for our keyword, which is Rajasthan, or more specifically, southern Rajasthan. So I have found it right here. My keyword is right here. The next thing that we have to do is we have to look for the specific information. What specific information are we searching for? We want to know about the type of serious climatic event. A serious climatic event. Well, it turns out that right here it says Rajasthan suffered an 8-year drought. Well, that is a serious climatic event. And actually what we have here is synonym language. Serious climatic event is the synonym language for an 8-year drought. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to underline our matching sentence. This is our matching sentence. The matching sentence is the sentence in which we're going to find our answer. It is the sentence in which we have found our keywords and the synonym language. So this is where we're going to find our answer. So personally, I like to underline this matching sentence. You can do the same if it helps you, but you don't have to. It is optional. So now that we have identified our matching sentence, let's go ahead and read this sentence. We're going to start off from right here. Their condition hasn't been helped by recent dry spells. Southern Rajasthan suffered an 8-year drought between 1996 and 2004. So what did they suffer? What was the serious climatic event? It was a drought. So drought is the correct answer. So now that we have answered our question, we have identified where we have found our answer, all we have to do is simply put a number next to it so that we know where we found the answer to question number 7, so that when we are looking for other questions that are in order, I will know that the answer to question number 6 will come before this line, and the answer to question number 8 will come after this line. So let's move on to question number 6. We're going to start answering this question now. Which part of some step wells provided shade for people? So here we actually have two keywords, step wells and shade. But guys, you know what? Actually, this entire passage is about step wells. Everything in this article is about step wells. So do you think that this is really going to be a helpful keyword? Do you think that step wells is a helpful keyword? It's not. It's not a helpful keyword because it's too repetitive. Because the whole article is about step wells, we're going to be seeing this keyword appear again and again in paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. So it doesn't really help us to identify this keyword since the whole article is about this keyword. So we're going to ignore this. Let's cancel that. We're not going to be looking for step wells since that is a useless keyword. It's not of any use to us. Let's just look for shade, something that has to do with shade, shade for people. So here is our paragraph. Let's go ahead and scan this paragraph and let's see if we can find something about shade in here. So I'm scanning again. And I am not reading word by word or sentence by sentence. I am simply scanning my eyes over this paragraph, looking for something that has to do with shade. And I think I found it. Right here, I see that it says that the pavilions sheltered visitors. There are pavilions that sheltered visitors. Sheltered from what? From the relentless heat. So heat of the sun. So if you are out in the open and there's really hot sun out. So if you're out in the open and the sun is really hot, what are you going to do? You're going to probably find some place where you can shelter yourself from the heat. In other words, you're going to find shade. So it seems that that is our keyword. So right over here, we have synonym language for shade. Shade for people. And here the synonym language says that the pavilions sheltered visitors from the relentless heat. Okay? And take note that in this question, we are looking for a very specific thing. The very specific thing is the part. Which part of the step well? That is the specific information that we are searching for, and that information is going to be found in our matching sentence. This is our matching sentence, and our answer is in here. Pavilions. What sheltered? Which part? It was the pavilions that sheltered people from the relentless heat. So that's our answer, pavilions. Finally, before we move on to our next question, we're going to put number 6 next to the line where we found our answer. And then we can move on to our final question, which is number 8. The question says, who are frequent visitors to stepwells nowadays? So in this question, our two keywords are frequent visitors and nowadays. Remember that we are not including stepwells. Since this is a repetitive keyword, it is not useful to us. So here is our paragraph, and let's go ahead and scan this paragraph to find these keywords. Right away, I see that the word today is a synonym for nowadays. So there's my first keyword. That is synonym language for nowadays. I'm going to keep reading on. All right, check this out. So it says, tourists flock to wells. It says, tourists flock to wells in far-flung corners of northwestern India. So this right here, flock to, or tourists flock to, is synonym language for frequent. So tourists often do this, and visitors is also synonym language for tourists. So this is going to be our matching sentence, the sentence in which we're going to find our answer. So let's go ahead and read this sentence now. Tourists flock to wells in far-flung corners of northwestern India to gaze in wonder at these architectural marvels from hundreds of years ago, which serve as a reminder of both the ingenuity, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to finish reading this. I've already found my answer. So who are the frequent visitors? Well, it says right here that tourists are the frequent visitors. Tourists are the frequent visitors. So that's going to be our answer for this question. So tourists can be seen as a synonym for visitors. It can be a synonym, but in this case, the question is asking us the type of visitors, because there can be many types of visitors. You could be a local visitor, you could be someone from the neighborhood, but you could also be from someone abroad, such as a tourist. So that is the correct answer for the who. We are looking for a person or a group of people. So in this case, the group of people happens to be tourists. Great, so we have answered this question, and at the end you can put a number 8 next to it if there are more questions in the question set, or if this happens to be the last question in the question set, then you don't have to do this. So now that you know how to answer these questions and you have a general overview for answering these short answer questions, in the next few videos I want to take you through practice exam questions. And these are questions that are going to replicate a real exam situation. These are genuine IELTS exam questions. So you're going to find more of that in the next few videos. I'll see you there.